pretty much conveys everything I feel about their Bolshevik revolution, which is a direct reference to the revolutionaries who won, and then all of a sudden they made all the decisions in the name of the people, and they were like, well, the people want this and the people want that, and they never once considered that maybe it wasn't the people at all, it was actually them. And if you look at every successful revolution, they were able to get over that, but that's how we got communism. That's the French Revolution. That's where it got really crazy and started killing everybody. Revolution almost always results in a new power structure emerging that thinks it's entitled to do whatever it wants. And when I see tweets like this from the Rust language team, God knows I believe with the stuff that has to happen right now to change the racial prejudice in our world. I'm not against that at all. But when a language core team produces a tweet that says Rust believes that tech is and always will be political, take some time today to invest in your community. When they openly and publicly admit that they are making decisions based on less than what is the best technology for the job, that to me says, I don't want anything to do with you. You are a programming language team. You are not a political action committee. And does that mean that I think that people should be not personally motivated to change the world? God, no. You've heard me stream about don't get mad, get busy, right? That is what it's an individual decision. It's a decision for organizations that are promoting activism. God knows I love Aaron Swartz and all he did. I believe in political activism, but it has nothing to do with a technology or a specific language. And mixing the two is a disaster waiting to happen. Yeah, Mac. Yeah. Yeah. So, and when I am going to throw my technical dependency onto a team forever, I want to know what I'm getting into. And I tell you what, I much rather trust Rob Pike, Ken Thompson, and the current Go team, who doesn't go in for sexy. They go in for, sustainable solutions that work for everybody, but despite the technology. But as soon as I start, hearing people talk like the FSF who are running a programming language, I am not into that at all. And right now I'm not liberal. I don't consider myself liberal or conservative, because right now the people on the liberal side are insane. They're just as insane as the people on the far left, on the far right. They don't think they are, but anyway. The FSF is the Free Software Foundation. It's this culture. There's the same kind of mentality in the FSF that everybody needs to get in line and do their cultural revolution, and that the world must be free of corporate software. It's not that it can be free of corporate software. That's more of a Linus Torvalds opinion. It's like, no, we must force it to comply with our view of the world. It's very Hunger Games kind of thinking, frankly. It's not a good time to be an American. No COVID, no Trump, no good times. Yeah. So my point is, somebody asked me about the politics behind the Rust language, and I kind of get a sense of that when I'm talking to Rust developers a lot of times. And so I went in and I researched it. I won't say who. I may say this. It's tough to not have an ad hominem attack, but I think it's important to understand the people who are leading the group. And there are 9 people on the core team that you can look up for Rust, and you can look up their backgrounds for yourself, and you can decide if their backgrounds are consistent with what you value, and you can make your own decision. Keep in mind that the language project team has publicly said that political activities and political motivations are a part of the Rust language. They're all polite to each other, and until they're not. And for me to even question their motivations is, it really does, And so, I'm really glad I went through that. I'm going to share it here, and I'll probably put a mark in this. because I think you really need to understand the organization that's behind the language that you're becoming completely dependent on, and I would much rather be dependent on the Golang community and its foundational principles and its movement and the people behind it. Uh, Dude, don't even want to talk about. Go's not immune from it, by the way. Some of the stuff that's going on in the Go community now, some of that is kind of trickling in to the Go community as well. I have a feeling, and that's going to continue to happen as the languages get more popular, which they will. But